The only thing that's for sure at the moment is the weather. The heat wave is continuing at the moment all across the country, isn't it? I think it's all across the country anyway. In Sidcup, southeast of London, it's definitely boiling hot. Really, really hot. But there we go. In all other news, mixed messaging and chaos seems to be the order of the day, doesn't it? And as usual, there's not much comment from the amateur sector, lots from the professional sector. So Sardines here, we will be the voice of amateur theatre for now. We will be the ones giving an opinion, because we just don't care. So anyway, let's go. Andrew Lloyd Webber has famously been quoted as dubbing Monday's Freedom Day, which was the 19th of July, as Closure Day. And let me read a statement from him, and you've all probably seen it on the videos, on the news, but I'm going to read it in its entirety anyway. Today on this Freedom Day, I've been forced to take the heartbreaking decision not to open my Cinderella. At Cinderella, from the outset, we have employed a rigorous testing system for all the cast and backstage crew before they begin work. On Saturday, as part of this process, we identified one positive case in a member of our cast who has become a cameo role in the show. As a precautionary measure, we cancelled 2 shows on Saturday while we carried out further tests on everyone backstage, which were negative. Any of those who were identified as a close contact of the positive case were given additional PCR tests. These too were negative. This morning we carried out additional tests on those due to perform tonight, and every one of them was negative. Despite this, the impossible conditions created by the blunt instrument that is the government's isolation guidance means that we cannot continue. We have been forced into a devastating decision which will affect the lives and livelihoods of hundreds of people and disappoint the thousands who have booked to see the show. Cinderella was ready to go. My sadness for our cast and crew, our loyal audience and the industry I have been fighting for is impossible to put into words. Freedom Day has turned into Closure Day, and that's signed Andrew Lloyd Webber. And it's true, isn't it, actually? Andrew Lloyd Webber has got his critics and his supporters, and personally I think he's fighting for the industry. I think he obviously does have a vested interest in the success of opening theatres because of Cinderella, Joseph, that kind of thing. But I think he's also fighting for the industry. That's why when lockdown began, he was on his piano every day doing videos, trying to G everyone up and get everyone going. Whether you're amateurs or pro, it doesn't really matter at the moment, does it? As amateurs, because this is important, we amateurs have to follow the professional industry's reaction and processes and what they get up to, because inevitably the professional industry will affect the amateur industry. It will affect the amateurs, believe me, it will affect them. It will affect us. It's going to happen. And it's a bit weird, isn't it? Freedom Day, Monday. Obviously, because masks are no longer a legal requirement, social distancing is no longer a legal requirement, except for things like London Transport, all of that stuff. In England, I'm talking about, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland got their own set of rules, but as we know, they normally follow quite closely what the UK government tends to decide and announce. And I do believe that Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland are consulted with what the UK government announces before they announce it, so that they can adjust their own set of rules if they want to. And that's what tends to happen. So I'm talking about England, obviously, because it's the UK government's announcements, but you can bet your bottom dollar that Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland will be close behind or level pegging or even ahead in some cases. So there we go. Okay, I know that some people say, yeah, you're just talking about England, but Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland can't even have Freedom Day at the moment. No, it's just for England, but as I say, they will be close behind, ahead or level pegging. Anyway, so let's see what happens. All the pubs and clubs famously opened after midnight on Freedom Day so that they could party, and all the young people could party. And that's great, that's fine, that's no problem, but there's no responsibility, it appears, in the clubs, because whereas theatres have been employing rigorous, as Andrew Lloyd Webber says, rigorous testing, and I've been to a Palladium, which is one of Andrew Lloyd Webber's theatres. I've been to a Palladium show during lockdown, during the social distancing days, that 4-week delay. It was for Lee Meads at the Palladium, his birthday celebrations, his 40th birthday celebrations. And it was so rigorous. Social distancing was so strictly adhered to throughout the whole evening by all the staff there. Theatre absolutely was ready to go, I believe. And it's funny that clubs and pubs that don't have legal requirements now are not enforcing legal requirements, not enforcing their own set of rules. They're not enforcing any kind of vaccine passport. They're not asking to see anyone's anything, so I understand, as I understand it. Until it becomes legal requirements, they will continue not to do so. And I know they've been going through the mill as well. I know they've all been closed at the same time as theatre, but at least theatre is taking a very responsible approach to this whole thing in order to possibly open. And so why we don't have the facility now? You know, why do shows have to close? We've got Cinderella's that's closed at the moment. Hairspray has got a positive case. They've closed for isolation at the moment. We've had Romeo and Juliet at the Shakespeare's Globe that have closed because of the same thing. And the same thing goes for Wonderville at the Palace Theatre. That's a bit of a run at the moment that I believe goes into September. And that's closed at the moment because of a positive tested case. So why do these shows have to close at the moment? It's a little bit crazy, isn't it? Why do we have to wait till August? There's always a 4-week delay, isn't there? It's August or the end of September sometime. I don't know. Vaccine passports are going to be made mandatory. Why aren't they made mandatory now? I don't understand why we've always got to wait. Isn't this situation, couldn't this have been foreseen by the government? I don't understand it. Couldn't it have been foreseen at all? And if it was foreseen, why isn't it part of the law? You know, why didn't we drop the restrictions on face masks, social distancing, but if you want to go into a public space where your crowding is going to take place and you're in very close proximity to each other, vaccine passports have to be seen and tested and checked on entry, otherwise you have to be turned away. It's the only thing that I can think of that is going to let us into these venues again. So why not do it? Why not do it? And as I say, Andrew Lloyd Webber there has been very vocal in his criticism of the government, and probably a few others have as well. I haven't even looked at the moment. These things are all done off the cuff, these videos, but we had to produce something this morning. And as usual, I'm sorry to say, amateur theatre seems to have been very quiet, but we've already gone over the reasons why that. Most of the organisations are made up of membership bodies who are answerable to their memberships first and foremost, and the services they supply their members, and therefore if they're not set up with the infrastructure of a campaigning arm or a communications arm, then it's very difficult for them to have an opinion or to express an opinion unless someone takes it on their shoulders. That's their position in the theatre industry. And I know when I spoke to Tony Gibbs, when he was the CEO of NODA, he's not the CEO of NODA anymore, but when he was, I think he saw that as his role, and that's why he was contacted a lot by the BBC, by people, by various bodies to get quotes from him. And I think that helped at that time. This is my opinion now. I think it helped if amateur theatre did have an opinion and a voice that spoke out. So at the moment, it's just us. We're being the voice of reason. It's a little bit crazy, isn't it? But there we go. Unfortunately, the rest has had to We keep asking for shout outs, and let's not forget, by the way, just before I talk about shout outs, the Panto season. When I spoke to Martin Dodd at UK Productions last year, this is last summer, okay, I spoke to Martin Dodd, the owner of UK Productions, which is a massive pantomime company, one of the big pantomime companies in the country. He said that if shows have to close because of a positive coronavirus test, and this is where we were last summer, a year ago, it's absolutely crazy, because we were talking about the pantomime season for 2020-2021, which was last December, January, and of course he was saying he didn't think things would be much better this time next year, and that's now this year coming up, 2021-22, where all the pantomimes have supposedly been postponed to this season coming up. And he said to me last summer that he didn't see any pantomimes going ahead that had to close if there was a positive coronavirus test, and that's where we are now. Why are we still closing now? We've all been vaccinated. You know, surely we can just test and go at the moment and keep testing, and if the tests are all negative, we can keep doing it. But there are going to be this dangerous super spreader events in the pubs and clubs that are opening, and everyone's sidling up to each other to have fun. And there's nothing wrong with having fun, but if half the people, and I've heard half young people, have deleted the COVID NHS app off their phone because they don't see any use for it anymore, then I don't know. No one's going to get pinged if someone comes down with it because they haven't got the app on their phone. Bluetooth's been turned off by a lot of them, and I don't know. It's a little bit worrying, isn't it? It's a little bit worrying. But anyway, back to the shout-outs. I was doing shout-outs, as you know, on Monday. I'll try and do a few more on Friday, but we've run out of time today. We have got more shout-outs because more have come in, and it's gone a bit crazy. But let's just hope that all of the amateur shows that were going along in August, etc., are going to keep going and going to keep on foot. We will try and check up on them and see what's going on, but hopefully they won't be postponing again or anything like that, or putting their dates back or cancelling or anything like that. We're supposed to be going to Calendar Girls, the musical, and that's going to be going on, I hope, in September, and that's up in Yorkshire, the premiere amateur production. It's so crazy, isn't it? I mean, we're supposed to be going to Heathers tonight. We're supposed to be going to Wonderville at the Palace Theatre and reviewing that, so we're right in the thick of it, and we've had to put a later date on it. I think 2nd of September is now the new 2nd of August is now the brand new press night for Wonderville, and we are going to Heathers the musical tonight. And yesterday we interviewed Jodie Steele from the show, who is Heather Chandler, and there's a picture of our brand new cover because she's on the front of our new cover. It's going to be a bit of a Heathers the musical special, I feel, because half of the production team, Paul Taylor Mills, who's the artistic director at the Turbine Theatre in the shadow of Battersea Power Station, or the old Battersea Power Station, is also interviewed in this new issue. But yeah, we got interviews with them, and hopefully we got the cover up there. Otherwise you'll be looking at a blank bit of wall and our lovely bit of wall over here. So yeah, let's just see what happens. Yeah, I hope that no one at Heathers blooming goes down with the positive coronavirus, so they'll have to pull that. And it's our third time of asking to review it tonight. We've already delayed it twice because of social distancing, and we've had to cancel tickets and for whatever reason. And so we're going tonight, 100% capacity. And Jodie Steele told me yesterday that the euphoria and the excitement and the exhilaration of hearing the roar from a full capacity auditorium is unbelievable at the moment at the Theatre Royal Haymarket. She says it's absolutely fantastic. And so if you want to subscribe to our new issue, Jodie talks about coronavirus, the testing, the upset at what's going on. She talks about social media, talks about all sorts of things, and so does Paul Taylor Mills. And so I thoroughly recommend getting the new issue or subscribing. We're in print again, by the way, so you get a printed copy sent to you and you get a digital issue. It's only $20.99 for 12 months to do that, and $36.99 for 2 years to do that, even cheaper per month. So there you go. That's it for now. Links are all below to all that stuff I've just talked about. Stay safe, stay well. See you Friday. Bye for now.